What's up, everyone? It's the Emerald Enthusiast coming at you with another action figure review. This time I'm taking a look at the Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse 40th Anniversary action figure of He-Man. 1 year ago, Mattel celebrated the 40th anniversary of the Masters of the Universe line with this figure based on He-Man's classic appearance. So let's take a closer look at the package details now. The top of the package says Masterverse. There's product information on the bottom. On the bottom front, it says Masters of the Universe, He-Man. There is the 40th anniversary sticker. There's some exploding rock artwork on each side of the packaging. And on the back, we get some artwork of Castle Grayskull, He-Man, Battle Cat, and Skeletor, as well as a brief bio of the toy line. The bio says, 40 years ago, Mattel created Masters of the Universe, a world of space and sorcery, of fantasy and technology, and of He-Man, the hero who inspired children to discover the power within themselves. Mint on card collectors should be very happy with the appearance of this packaging. The accessories are positioned around He-Man. The figure is front and center. My only criticism is that you can't see the figure's feet within the packaging. But with that being said, now it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. Here is the figure free of the outer packaging, but still bound to the inner plastic. Here is the cardboard tray with the exploding rock design. You might want to use this for your display. Let's have a look at accessories now, and these are similar to the ones that came with He-Man in 1982, like this shield. I like these little nodules that are sculpted into the sides. And this orange coloring is indicative of the first figure as well. And the figure's hand just slides into the shield like that. And I'll be doing that later in this review. Here is the battle axe. Plenty of good sculpting on this, as you can see here on the sides. We get two alternate hands with this figure. And one is a fist, as you can see here. There's good sculpting on this as well as a relaxed hand. And both of these are on hinged pegs. And last but certainly not least, we have the power sword. And this is well sculpted. However, for a collector-centric figure like this, I really would have preferred some metallic paint on this. I don't think that's too much to ask for the price point on this figure. However, I do appreciate getting this number of accessories. And here we see the champion of Castle Grayskull. It is He-Man out of the package and ready to rumble. This figure is gorgeous and a must-have for any Masters of the Universe collector. However, I do have some minor criticisms, so let's take a closer look at the loose details now. Let's have a look at the lower body. And even though this figure has some weight to it, it is very sturdy. I really appreciate the way these boots have been sculpted. This looks like animal hair and like straps of hide used to make the boots. The musculature is massive and very defined, which is to be expected for a He-Man figure. Much like with the boots, there's a dark wash that has been applied to the loincloth, and that gives this figure an element of realism. I would have preferred some more detail in the belt area, but overall the lower body is well executed. Let's have a look at the torso now, and as you would expect, his pectorals are massive. This actually looks like real skin. And the vest is a really good fit. It's tight. It doesn't just hang there, and it doesn't look cheap. The paint applications are very exact, so I'm very appreciative of that. As you would expect, the vest does come off. It just unsnaps in the back here, as you can see, and I was able to slide it off easily. Here is the figure without the vest, and as you can see, there's been some airbrushing applied, and that gives the figure even more definition. Now let's have a look at the arms, and they're extremely well done. There's so much sculpting here in the forearms, and this armored cuff, I'm not exactly sure what you call that. Here's a look at the inner biceps. There's plenty of definition between the biceps and the triceps. That's very impressive. Here is the forearm gauntlet, and that actually is a separate piece. You can see some definition in the deltoids back here, so solid job by Mattel. Here's a closer look at that forearm gauntlet. I really like the paint applications on this, and notice that it looks more like metal than the belt. So I really wish that Mattel would have used this paint for all of the orange sections on the figure. And here's He-Man with the two alternate hands. We have the fist over here and the open hand. It's like he's saying, just bring it. When a figure has molded straps like this, I've always found that the safer way to do this is to work the hand around the handle like this, and then ease the peg into the forearm port like this. Some people do it differently, but this is the safest way in my estimation. Let's have a look at the head sculpt now. And I have mixed feelings on this. I understand that they're going for accuracy here and a tribute to the original figure, but it seems just a little out of place on the body. It's also very old-fashioned with this type of haircut. Although the hair is painted very well and sculpted very well, but this just looks kind of dated and it's not my favorite. Also, the shading on the face, I understand that they were going for definition here, but it looks very odd. It looks like his face is dirty or burnt, and I believe that's because it's a lighter skin tone than the rest of his body. I really wish they would have used the same skin tone for the face, and had they made it darker, they wouldn't have tried to use this airbrushing for his face. Although I will say that the paint applications on the rest of his face are very precise. This figure has 30 points of articulation, including back and forward movement at the ankles and pivoting. The tops of the boots swivel back and forth. Double jointed knees, so if you'd like to get He-Man into a running pose, you can certainly do that. There's an upper thigh swivel. It works well, although then the musculature no longer lines up. That looks a little weird. The legs move out to the sides much further than I thought they would. He can almost do a full split. I did not expect that, and I think that's because of these little cuts here in the loincloth. You can get him to kick forward that far. It's decent, but it's not great. He does step back somewhat, although the loincloth hinders it. So be careful if you're putting him in a very wide stance like this. The waist pivots back and forth. There's an upper torso swivel, and that works very well. There's rotation at both of the wrists, as you can see. There's a double jointed elbow, although the biceps blocks it from going further than this. There's a bicep swivel on both arms. You can raise his arms up from the sides this much, and you can rotate them back for the big power pose. So there is the wingspan. There's 360 degrees of rotation at the shoulder. The head moves side to side. It moves up a little and it moves down a little, and there's really no head tilting to speak of. Other than that, I think this is really excellent articulation. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. And please tell all of your friends about this channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And I'll be back with more action figure and comic book related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.